Well, hello there, and you join us here today to talk about a very special watch. It's the watch you definitely have to own. If you're looking for a watch that you would like to own rather than stealing, you could buy one at watchfinder.com. Check out the link in the description below. Tom, while you weren't looking, I did a poll of many people, and they had this to say. There are some watches in different price brackets that enthusiasts absolutely have to own. Now, I have separated these brackets into 5 different categories based on price. We've got less than 1,000, 1,000 to 3,000, 3 to 5,000, 5 to 10,000, and 10,000 plus, and each one of those has a watch that you absolutely have to own.
Have to? That's annoying.
Yeah, like, if you don't, you will go to jail.
Okay, then.
Now, I'm not in charge of enforcing this, but what I am in charge of is creating these price brackets, and I've picked it. So if there's a price bracket that you drop into, that's the watch you definitely have to have at some point in your watch collecting career, because this is a profession.
Right.
And you will be sued for corporate manslaughter if you don't get this watch. That was also in the poll.
Cool. With you.
Let's start ourselves off at less than $1,000, Tom, because according to our poll of many people, the watch you must definitely own is a Seiko 5.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't specify which Seiko 5 in particular, and I think that leaves the choice open to you, but it is the most for the least in that price bracket, and that is why you should definitely try one. Many different styles, many different categories: sports, street, school,
Suits.
Thank you. And of course, they all benefit from 5 of Seiko's greatest assets: the case of a watch, the date of a watch, the crown of a watch. Did I say case of a watch?
The durability of a puma.
And the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
All of these packed into one watch that gives you a lot of benefit for very little cost. You can get GMT complications in there very recently too, which is also fun for you jet setters who are spending your money on trips and not watches. Because Seiko has such an enormous benefit when it comes to quantities of scale, you simply cannot buy a better watch for cheaper, because they're the ones making all the movements that are in all those other cheaper watches anyway.
It doesn't even have to be the Seiko 5, just any Seiko. If someone were to approach me and say, I need a watch and I'm going to spend X amount of money on it, I'll just go, any Seiko, you'll be fine.
Any money, any Seiko. I think that speaks more to your laziness and your inability to help others than a good, valid choice.
That's slanderous. I ought to go over there and forget it.
So, Tom, 1,000 to 3,000.
Yeah.
What are the pollsters saying?
I would go for a Tag Heuer Formula One. The Tag Heuer Formula One selection is the cheaper range that Tag Heuer offer. But I think Tag Heuer is actually a really prestigious brand when it comes to luxury watches. I think everyone knows. I would say that would be on the tip of the tongue after Rolex. If you were to ask Joe Public to name a luxury watch brand, they'd probably say Rolex, Tag Heuer, and Hublot. And yeah, and they'd be correct. So yeah, I think it's a great brand, and the Formula One range is lovely. You can get some quite funky, colourful ones on rubber straps. Or the cheapest one they do is £1,200. Steel case, black chunky racing-inspired bezel, and a quartz movement. It's quartz, but hey, come on. It's got a cool Tag Heuer logo, and that's what you really want, isn't it? A luxury logo for not much money.
Yeah, it may well be quartz, but it's a very high-quality quartz. It may well be a Tag Heuer and not a vintage Heuer, but it's still one of the most prestigious and historically important watch brands in the world. And if you're looking to spend that sort of money, you could go down one of a number of many different great independents. But if you're just having one, this is the one to have. You've got the association of the great brand of Heuer, which popularized motorsport and watchmaking together that we still enjoy today. And with Formula One in particular, in which it was an absolute pioneer in that industry. You also aren't going to find the quality that you get in Tag Heuer anywhere else at that price range. They really are very high quality watches, and they have done this to give meaning and reason to their price point as a luxury brand in competition to those micro brand watches. If you want one watch, you want it to be a good, well-known brand, you want it to be high quality, and you want it to be historically important and really well built, Tag Heuer Formula One, absolutely.
That's what I said.
$3,000 to $5,000, Tom. There can only be one watch. It's the most boring choice of all, and yet I'm wearing it myself right this very second. It is the Tudor Black Bay 58. If you were to, on paper, write down the perfect watch, it would be late 30s in millimeters. It would probably look very close to a Rolex. It would ideally be built by Rolex, or at least a sister company of. It would have an in-house movement. It would be very well built. It would look great on a rubber strap, which mine currently is, and it will be $3,000 to $5,000. That is what the Tudor Black Bay 58 is. You can choose it in a bunch of different colors and materials, depending on your preference. I believe the silver one still fits into that price bracket too, which is quite impressive. I might be wrong, but very close. Otherwise, you've got the black bezel with the red bit, or you've got the blue bezel, which feels more modern. A lot of choice there. And it's just a fantastic watch. Yes, it's boring. It's so boring. It's so boring, Tom. But if you're going to buy one watch and it's at that price bracket, you really have to make it this one. Yeah.
Or a Longines. But yeah.
No, the people we polled didn't say that, Tom, and you know it.
Okay, sure.
But what are we looking at for £5,000 to £10,000? We're starting to spend some real money now.
Yeah, so I think for this option, the only answer that anyone could possibly give, and it correctly has been given, Rolex Oyster Perpetual. So that's staying down the lower end of that price bracket. Just over £5,000, I think, for a 36mm. Creeps up a bit in hundreds as you add more millimeters, up to 41. But yeah, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual is just a great everyday wear. And more importantly than anything that you could ever say about watches ever is it's a Rolex.
Oh, man.
I don't think we talk enough about Rolex on this channel, but I think it's worth mentioning. One of the most prestigious brands, lovely history, been going a long time. They make quality watches, everybody's favourite. The logo is a crown, is the best object.
We the best object.
Yeah, that's the best loot that you want to find. So they've popped that on there as their logo. So that tells you everything you need to know.
It is just like, it is the quintessential watch, shaped like a watch, that looks like a watch, that's built by the people who make watches for watch people who like watches.
Yeah, it's just classic watch. It's liquid watchmaking. No, that's Renaissance. But yeah, what more can you say about the Rolex Oyster Perpetual? I think for £5,300, 36mm Oyster Perpetual is just such a intensely tempting proposition, isn't it? If you had that money, you'd be hard pressed to go anywhere else, I think.
Mark Wahlberg wears a Rolex.
Don't let that put you off.
And so too can you for just $5,000 or so. It's barely even the deposit on a car these days, Tom. What's becoming very apparent is that this list is full of incredibly boring watches. Like, this is the watch that you draw as a kid if you're told to draw a watch and you don't particularly want to draw a watch and you want to draw a watch as quickly as possible. But that's just because this is the watch. The Oyster Perpetual, in combination with the perpetual winding movement and the Oyster water-resistant case, is just how Hans Wilsdorf decided watches should be. On the wrist, simple, readable, functional. It's not only a luxury watch that bears the name Rolex, but it's also the watch if you want a mechanical watch to own and wear forever and never need anything else. Like, you can sign off on this thing and just be like, bye, done with watches now. I played for a bit. I got that one. All good. I was surprised that it wasn't the Omega Speedmaster, but actually, do you know what? The people are right. It is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual. Tom, into the last price bracket now, the greater than 10,000. That is a lot of different watches and a lot of very, very exceptional watches. We could spend millions here if we want to. We're not going to. We're still going to spend quite a bit. This is the Patek Philippe Nautilus. That is the every enthusiast watch must own watch of this particular category. And a lot of people might be thinking, what? Why the Nautilus? And just really because it's the watch that everybody wants. It's the watch that gains the most value in the hype times. It's the watch that's hardest to get, especially with the latest 5811 in white gold. They're barely making any of them. It's got the classic shape. It's got that very svelte case and bracelet. It's, even if you're not really that fond on it, it's the watch that if you have, that's the watch. And how do I prove this? What is the one watch in the world that is the most desirable watch? You could say it's the Rolex Daytona as a series, but like the one watch, it's got to be the Tiffany dial Nautilus.
Royal Oak. Sorry. Yeah.
Almost. You need to read the
coming at it from a different angle.
poll notes. Royal Oak was a distant second.
Sure.
The Tiffany Nautilus is the watch, like the most desirable modern watch in the world right now. And that is why the Patek Philippe Nautilus is the enthusiast watch to own above 10,000.
Yeah. Well, sure. I see where they're coming from, but it's too rich for my blood and too Tiffany for my eyes. But yeah, good watch. Nice shape. I like the wings. The wings are a good touch.
Yeah, they really help it glide on the wrist.
Yeah. Sure.
So there you go, the 5 watches every enthusiast must own at different price brackets. They're all incredibly boring and incredibly obvious, but really, what did you expect? Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and if you want to buy a watch of your very own, check out watchfinder.com in the link in the description below. Thank you so much and see you next time. Goodbye.